To that one, the one who dwelled at Shravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground basis for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone. The pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the three higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha, I also prostrate. And then back to page 9, and in Tibetan, page 8. In page 15, I prostrate to the youthful Manjushri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans who appear during the 3 times. To all of them, without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharma Dhatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas, with the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense. I make offerings to the victorious ones. With the finest cause, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways, I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. Whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment. In page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Afternoon. Hola, hola.
Good afternoon. the Tangazo during Japan Tabik choose on the Japan Tabik Chudo, Sungurwa. Chudo was here to do Karsana, the Shanley, Panto to be teenage is. I can pen top of the Chivala, Japan is on me. Cantonga Corala categories, Huina, Colossum, Colossum, something. Yes.
When it comes to practicing the Dharma, what does it mean to really practice the Dharma? To really practice the Dharma means that primarily we should be benefiting others. And so in order to benefit others, what is it, that one who is practicing Dharma needs, or what is it that is needed to really accomplish the benefit of others? So what is needed are the three spheres. Or wheels, the three wheels.
That is on it, Chawa Legend Holo, Chawa Legend Holo. Then Loba to some Jim Holo. Then something Holo, so that make it something.
Something happens on Puma. Oh, okay. So these three wheels are the wheel, the wheel, the karma wheel of activity, the wheel of hearing, the study wheel of hearing and contemplation, and also together in that is maybe reading and recitation, and the meditative concentration wheel of abandonment. Abandonment meaning kind of relinquishment or renunciation.
Chawa Legend Holo, Chawa Legend Holo, so Karsena, Masoji, Penna, Leka, oh, sorry, Sundua, so a repeat Tony, Leka Karimina, Lebo is Penna.
And so first, the karma wheel of activity is referring to, activity, or this includes, for instance, like the arts, sort of skill or training in the arts, and arts.
That's so general. In that source, so required all the included activities.
So actually it includes like all types of activities. So art is included in that, but mainly like, all types of activities.
It's like Ayurveda is the art of like creativity or something.
Like
5 sciences.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 sciences. It's no, it's just one of them. It's the Zoe Rikpa, which is usually.
So that's including everything. So sometimes we thinking is, okay, I've done my practice, just meditate or reading. So that's Dharma practice. But we physical work or build or whatever, doing things. So then, maybe this is not
Like
dharma.
a craft, I
Right.
think, is
So-
the thing he's getting at, like a crafts, profession.
So all kind of things, that all the activities. So that is the dharma practice. So even though I say talking about the cleaning in the monastery or whatever, even the road and the street, or so that is the big, part of the dharma practice. And also sometimes you meditate. It is, good, but sometimes more merit to the activities benefit for others. So particularly, I think we said sometimes, we have obstacles, So obstacle means sometimes for business or, like worldly obstacles. So maybe sick, or maybe not successful, something, So we call that's obstacles. So the obstacles is usually we see. So in order to remove obstacles, they said you make like clear up the path or something, right? You understand?
The path,
Path.
he said. Oh, now I know what he's saying. He's saying actually to physically clear the pathway, to like move sticks or shrub or whatever it is that's off of the pathway, has the function of actually also clearing obstacles, to literally clear the path.
Right. So this most
or clean the
powerful.
path.
I don't know here. I don't know. Maybe we fill the potholes.
Okay.
So that is a good example. So maybe maybe every car goes hit, maybe not stone car, maybe cars breaks. So this interesting is karma in the mirror, how they goes. Okay. So like for example, you filled up pothole, right? And after that, maybe 1,000 times, maybe more, but 1,000 times car hit this road. So because now it's smooth, right? So no pothole. So each time you get merit, maybe same car, same person. So that works. And also this, we always, like in Tibet. So in the Tibet, so like kind of small path, and the small path, this path, every, yards, hymns, horses go to this path. So the some in the road, maybe the huge rocks, big rocks. So every single animals go hit their difficult, round, jump. So if we move this big rock or clear up the path, so since then, thousands animals go there. So there are no obstacles. So that's so these merit, not only one thing. So that's get the merit. And also we said activities and build a monastery or temple or center. Okay. So build the center or build the monastery So, okay, for example, we build a monastery or we build a center, finish, right? And then, beginning you finish not beginning, since you finish temple, then how many people using these monasteries? How many people come there to receive teachings or practicing or meditation? Right, so all like, or maybe we can say 100 years, 1,000 years. So then, actually, lot of numbers can people use. You understand?
A lot of numbers of people. Mhm.
Right. So that merit get who built? Get who?
The person who built the monastery sort of receives merit from all those numbers of people attending the monastery. Mhm.
So that's why we said this: the temples, monasteries, and stupas. So it's very important. So that's why we sometimes activities in the yes, good, meditate, recitation, that's good, but same time, also the activities is something more increasing the merit, more quicker.
It's a quicker way sometimes to increase your merit is through activities over meditation.
So because we see it, what that's it. Yinayang Kojita Bombayinari Karina Teletini, Mujara, Dontra Kitini, Yamlan Chigiro, into Yamlan Chivala Dene, Koranson, Yamlan Chiviti Jimsendene, Koranso, Geva Jigsagari, Koransola, Sonam Jigsagari, Koransola Num Wachum Tis Logre, Tindi Geva Chatum, Tene, that and the jig, connection, Karunity, Kahanroji. 신기나 될 connection 가능한 가히 volunteer 지구나리 배샤 되구나리 자마 소구유나리 take care 지구유나리 간다 그래서는 더 배워야겠어.
So, for example, if you stay and meditate in solitude, there is great merit in that. But it really is kind of like, you create some merit yourself. Maybe your afflictive emotions decrease. But then to say, build a monastery, then all of the hundreds of thousands of people who go through that monastery and create merit themselves, whatever virtue that they do in that monastery, whatever accumulation of merit, their afflictive emotions decreasing, maybe whatever volunteering or cleaning or whatever merit that they then create in connection with the center or the monastery also becomes your merit too. So it's sort of a really vast accumulation of merit.
And also, we see some people not cares the public space, the public road.
When people don't take care of public spaces or public roads.
Right. So we see some people put the garbage or trash. So that is actually really tremendous increasing the negatives. So the reason is why increasing? Every single person sees.
They get angry.
That's angry. Right? So, or angry or ugly or not clean or so that's how many. So this kind of you put small things, some garbage, small things, maybe 5,000 people see, that's garbage. So that's one, looks like was kind of small, not big deal. You just throw the
Piece of
one
trash.
bottle or one bag of the garbage, 1 second, so. But this is there were consequences. Teaching duty, money,
Yeah, the consequence or ripening of that can actually be really tremendous.
So that's interesting, karma. So sometimes sometimes we think karma means somebody judging, Oh, you did right, so then something give to, what is that? Points.
Points. Like you get given points.
And then, okay, you did bad things, I
Take
want
off
to
some points.
take off the points or punishment. No. But naturally, yes, so looks like, nobody's doing, but naturally we call the law of the karma, natural law. So I said, okay, someone put the garbage in the road. So each person sees you get negative point 1.
Every person who sees, it becomes, if you want to think about it in terms of points, it's like you get a negative point.
Right. So this is naturally. So that is the karma law. So actually, this is interesting. So this actually maybe not good example, but if you really someone want the negatives, that's just, I don't know what I say if someone wants really negatives.
If someone wants to accumulate
You
negative
feel that
karma,
something is called Bipiravu.
like if
So some people like kind of this, they collect your negatives, big borrow in the negatives, right? But
if somebody has a big barrel that they want to fill with negativities,
if it's not yet filled up, then what need to do is you sit in the road,
put things
public
in the
road.
road,
You keep their poop.
put poop in the
road.
public road.
Then each person sees terrible, So then we quickly fell down, negative fell down the big barrel. So this negative side. And same way, I think this positive side is maybe we in the road, we pick up one bottle. Actually, it's not a big deal, right? But that's also same way, tremendous merit. So that's we call this bigger activities. I said, okay, constructions, big buildings, yes, of course. But also, like I said, small things. So maybe you pick up maybe dead leaves, this parking lot or for somewhere. That's even though only these, maybe, I don't know, maybe you have, even though that's only your merit, 1 merit, even though somewhere, for example, okay, this Dharma Center, okay? So Dharma Center in the road. So there maybe they're broken branches. You can move for somewhere. They're no longer there, that branch is no road, right?
There are no longer branches in the road.
Right. So that only that's merit. Maybe 500 lifetimes later, maybe you are achieving that merit. Sure, that's goes, so. So these, I really not joking, So also, do you remember this, the Milarepa love story? So he need to receive the teachings. Sort of like I think this involved black magic, but the Milarepa did. So all this long story, but all the students gone, but Milarepa still have to receive, teaching. But what they did is the Lama look morning, so Milarepa didn't laugh, but then he looked. So Milarepa, he did is remove the rocks, small rocks. I don't know, maybe not really long-term walk, but he on the walking, he removed the rocks from the Lama's field, field.
From the Lama's field. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then he found some couple yak down or cow down. So this good for the field. So he put in the field. So the Lama says this, okay, here's there are potential or sonam merit chimbuji, though hago something,
So he thought, he really does have merit. So then based on that, he thought, okay, I'll give him the Dharma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What in that's because then the sonam tegana yike 어다 대가나니 가장 휴가나 이래 땅아저 개송데 제타 추지 풍부 제트系统게 인고 장적 셈은 무슨 제타 장적 셈 세와서야 돼 에마스비 개침보레스.
So, as has been said now, the essence of all the 84,000 categories of teachings is bodhicitta, and the essence of bodhicitta is love.
어다 대양, 근데 다양 가서 이제 닝게세야, 샴바세야, 장접센세야, 딱 가서 딱 봐라 이런 거로 for image를 버리노. 전나이 이제 때나 닝제 요래 가서 쉬인 봐. 맞아 처음에 닝제 요래. 맞아 뭐 처음에 첨바 요래. 이는 양 그래서는 가서 첨바대 직디스 년행 요비 첨바. 닝제 대양 년행 요비 닝제 틀리지 용거로 봐. 다 틀리지 그 마용 위치도. 그러와. 닝제 지용비 깔라 지 나니고 이나 닝제 제야 of course 양아 직디 스타ting 거 요나 닝제 제야 탑시 제가 나이가 마가바만도 지구나 닝제 제야 게 다시 지고 yes.
And so compassion and kindness, or loving kindness, and bodhicitta is built through meditation on the four immeasurables. So it has to be, we all have some love and some capacity for love and compassion. Everybody has love and compassion in their mind stream. But everybody also has to build the capacity of their love, kindness, and compassion. And so because mostly the love and compassion in our mind stream is kind of limited to those that we feel a kind of favoritism for, those who are near, who we consider to be near and dear. And so everybody has a compassion for those that, but it's usually kind of limited. And so there maybe isn't so much compassion for those who are distant, and especially for those that one feels animosity towards. So we have to work to expand that compassion. first of all, yes, of course, we have to do what we can to cause our compassion and loving kindness to grow toward even those that are near and dear, those who are close to us. We also have to do what we can, or whatever methods necessary. We have to expand our loving kindness and compassion to those who are distant. And we also have to do what is necessary to expand loving kindness and compassion to those that we dislike.
어다 디인도 대리다 소태종을 다 가서지 안 됐음 그래 가서지 오 녀기베 제와 무심발라 제와지 오 무심발라 인제공 오 무심발라 장초성공 진리 증배 다 나랑 강야치 못하고 나랑 도바 통다 만도요 당가 루저도 차로서디 zambi 오늘이 만 진리지 응고요레스 당연히 공투 사마리 스마트 소투 사마리 너 삼고요.
And some people even hear things like this and they feel like, some aversion to it, thinking, oh, if I really focus on having so much love for others, what about me? Then I will defeat my own purpose. Like how will I get what I need if I'm only focused on others, on accomplishing the benefit and purpose of others? I'll become a loser. And so then they don't really want to cultivate the qualities of love and compassion because there's this fear that somehow they will lose something for themselves in the process.
어다 티니테 테마리에서 하마고레스다 제가 저 슈퍼 지카세고 relatively personally superficial way 티니도지 요리티냐 동음에가 이거 말이에요. 지춤밀레 당원이 라데원 로고고도나 다 티니지 고그레스 캠페인 탐지 랑데주 소데 캠페인과 같이 지와 특점지게 랑데신 중고레스
But actually, it really is quite the opposite. Even though there's this thought that like by really cultivating the wish to benefit others, we might lose something, that is based on not understanding how it really works. So for instance, as Milarepa has said, all happiness is accomplished through the wish to benefit others. So it is through love and compassion for others and cultivating the wish to benefit others that we create the causes of our own well-being and happiness. And in fact, there is tremendous power and courage that comes with the mind of compassion. Somebody who has tremendously great compassion is exceptionally powerful. They can accomplish anything. They become like they become like heroic.
Only depending yours only. Now, ningi menge kansa jina, ta nyama yitona.
Tanyama?
Yeah.
Like pull out one hair?
Yes. Hansaya didn't be conversation starting there. Not talk also love they are nothing to lose.
So he said,
okay.
I think I understand.
Okay, that's fine. Then Tigana Yike Ninja Chimbo Yona, didn't pay not so this spear no Togo and so be na young. To so down be na young. Tadonko Kongan Sagma is Tindi, lot of changing yogurt, lot of Gayarava.
So the difference, the very striking difference in the courage here is that, somebody who lacks compassion, if somebody just pulls out one piece of their hair, like they pull out one strand of hair, that person becomes really angry, just really angry through, having one piece of hair pulled out. And the person who has a really extraordinarily great compassion, even if someone impales them in the stomach with a spear and twists it, that person doesn't give rise to anger.
Don't forget twisted.
You did say twist. Yeah. So the point here is actually it is illustrating the difference in the degree of courage and the strength of the courage. So somebody who has love and compassion, they don't sort of like jump at the chance to achieve something for themselves.
Interesting this. The parking lot. That has a big parking lot, Walmart, whatever, something restaurants. Interesting though. In one parking lot, how much they jump, just.
Oh. So all you have to do is go to a big parking lot, like at Walmart or a big, some sort of big supermarket or a big parking lot, and you can just see how eager people are to just serve themselves when trying to find a parking space. They'll just jump, at any chance to take a parking space from someone else.
So that's interesting, right? One hand is normal, but one hand is okay. We look a bit bigger view. Yes, everybody want parking. Yes, everybody going to the store. Like, yes, and same time, really is the just only one parking this shopping mall. Then maybe we can. If we didn't get this parking, then we maybe need to long walk, but not really like that. So we, particularly, here, this country, there's, I think the inner parking lots, really is the maybe.
There's enough spaces
really
in the
parking
parking lot. Yeah.
But people
want right up
tends
close.
to, it's just only one parking, I got that one. So I said, this is really wrong, but
This isn't really
kind of the harsh, how much heart inside.
How much aggression.
So that person is not relaxed too, how, and then if somebody parking, how angry. I think one is that one. Sometimes, they fight and shooting them. Maybe only 10 steps or 20 steps.
Different.
Yeah. One hand is there's nothing, not big deal at all. Like you can maybe 20 steps, longer, maybe better for, exercise. Right, you're walking. But I don't know. So that's this kind of wish to something, learning. So then that's all because not ninja you win. I think you go. Namto the hair sigri. Inaya. What is Tiniji could jump na say Chomando yala. Thank you. Yes.
So there might be some like hesitation or some, kind of doubt about, if compassion is really where it's at. But if it at least, sort of diminishing that tendency to sort of jump to your own, fulfilling, your own needs first, sort of just experiment with that and see how it goes.
대단한 게 됐었는데, ninja 요나 ninja 세야 되게 carriers knowledge. Knowledge carriers this kind of ninja 세야 되게 빼면서 tremendous power 이거라고. 이 ninja 되게 this 심지어 파르족 되는지. penetrate muy bando, lo, parjo. Tiza masibi ke parjo tele yang, chi, doba kariwa. Parjo ki yonten kariwa. Parjo teke, value kariwa. Tindi, chekini, tonto buyores. Temato, ninge zawa ni mina tene, chik, money kasalamba, mewa na jipe. Ranchi gu masa, suchik masang denge, tawoji. Chano go.
So when actually, as the more that compassion develops, the more knowledge and understanding that also comes, because compassion has tremendous power. So for instance, when there's some compassion in the mind stream, then the individual who has compassion is truly receptive to other beings, to other people, meaning that when they come into contact with someone, there's the capacity to really see that person's qualities, to really see their value, to really see their beauty. But if
also the what they wish, what they
and also to know what they need and what they want. But if you don't have compassion, it's like being blind. It's like even in coming into contact with others, it's like you don't even see them. You can't see because you're so absorbed in yourself. You're really only focused on yourself. And so there's not even the capacity to really understand or be receptive to others.
Well, that being Ninge seyaji, campaign seyaji, or that tindi seyaji to me, be kitchen what is that the tindi you win a pen around the top of is.
And so this mind of compassion, the mind that wishes to benefit others, is so precious and important. And the truth of the matter is that by cultivating it, you also achieve your own benefit.
Or that I think we want to too far. I'm Kolos and Tantira. So Chawa lady Kolos.
Forgot about the Corlos, yeah.
All right.
The wheels. So, so this falls into the category of the wheel of activity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Da lobato something Kolos or da lobato something Kolos or that yet. Not so Karsena lobaji go. Lobato some Kolo Labite. Taji Pechanda Winare. That might have logo your Genting your or Tin Lieutenant. Tomato to Jedu going, as a shade Ayomara. Tin was a Jane, somehow with the Ayomaris, Tamuchi Galata. Karina Sama, with the Kamicha in a day. The young was a part to Dharma. Come on, Hako Yomara. Tin Lieutenant. Hako. Royalatine, Benata, Tantanaway, Betep Casiko Yore. Teganayita, Jigami teaching us all that to be patient and career, you want to let me. Hello. Yeah, the teaching is.
So then the next wheel is the study wheel of hearing and contemplation, or also lokpa. Lokpa means more like literally reading and reciting, like reading and reciting. And so it isn't just reading and reciting, it sort of encompasses everything in the category of sort of study, but it also specifically includes reading, reading the text, reading books, receiving teachings from teachers, and because because we have to learn. It's not like we're born knowing everything. We have to, we have to learn. We have to learn the ways, things in a worldly context, anything that we want to succeed in a worldly sense, we have to train. We have to receive training. Same with, and especially in the case of the Dharma, we can't just expect to understand the Dharma automatically. We have to learn. And a lot of learning can come from, reading books, reading the scriptures, receiving teachings from lamas, and like reciting, so listening and reading and reciting.
That lobas, that loba tool, that two, so that two block you not it. Two unit. That's some go. Yaji two what some depending on what two what some depend on your kind of. That's some good. Oh, Benachavina, that two song. Oh, two song, that Benatrain, Benacart 2 years, oh, train at the G. Oh, chant, Ben Ninja at the kitchen where he has slap songs. Ne, Chamba say at the kitchen where he slap songs. Ah, G. Chamba Gombina young, Rana young pantogre lap songs. Ninja Hana young pantogre lap songs. That Ninja Roji Gombina, young Hana panto, Rana pantogre slap songs. That Tiniji, got that similar ma kind of visualization, senadita, contemplation, Tiniji, that go your place.
But so that falls in, reading books and hearing teachings falls into the category of hearing. But in addition to hearing, there also has to be reflection or contemplation. So you can't just leave it at hearing or reading. That isn't of so much benefit. There has to be then some reflection so that it really sort of makes sense and integrates into your mind stream. So that means, for instance, reflecting upon what you have learned, what you have heard, what you have read. So for instance, today, thinking later on, like, oh, he said compassion is really important. Love is really important. Compassion really brings benefit to oneself. Compassion accomplishes the benefit of others. And so if you meditate on compassion, you accomplish the benefit of self and others. And so meaning, whatever it is, to sort of turn it over in one's mind, to reflect upon it, to kind of visualize it. So this is what that contemplation or reflection is referring to.
방법하면 마냐미나 안 되는 말이야. 근데 가서 지금 노우다오지 추노우지 로이나 가보창 노나 로고 말고 뭐야 말이야. 근데 다 이해를 말. 다 이거 지금 세는 말이잖아. 근데 뭐지 노티나가 샵도어도 노 샵도어지 보다. 그티나 가실로 위나 그 말이 샵도 파사로 그렇던데. 제가 나이 용모 당대 두캔데 위죠. 야지 그 제가 중도지 얘기나 야 선노 힘하자 당디나 군대가 말고.
So also when it comes to the activity of hearing or study, it's important to engage in these activities of both reading and receiving teachings or listening without free of what is referred to as the three faults of the vase. So the first fault is being like a vase that is overturned, like a vase that is turned upside down. So what that means is if you pour water into a vase that's turned upside down, nothing can go
Pot.
inside. Or a
Pot is
pot.
better.
Okay, pot is better. We don't have to say. It's literally the word is vessel. So instead of vase, we'll say pot. So a pot, don't be like a pot that's turned upside down. If you pour the water on the upside down pot, nothing can go inside. It just runs off the sides of the pot and doesn't go in. So that's sort of like not being receptive, not really listening, and taking in what you're hearing. The other fault of the vase is being like a pot with a crack in it, so that whatever you pour into the crack, it goes out through the crack. The pot doesn't retain whatever is poured in. And so that's kind of like, I guess what we say in English is in one ear and out the other. So we're not really retaining, we're not holding what we learn. And then the third fault of the of the pot is being like a pot that has poison in it. So that whatever gets poured into the pot, it mixes with the poison, and then therefore whatever the contents become contaminated. And so that means, like studying or listening with affliction, with an afflicted mind state, so that whatever you hear gets distorted by your own affliction. And so therefore it becomes, it's not really useful. It's not actually what you're not able to really receive it accurately or fully.
That time ate gombari. Turn the microphone.
Is there something wrong? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The pacher. So he's saying sometimes the sound is going up and sometimes it's going down.
I don't know if that's the fault of the mic there.
No, this level.
Yeah, right. He thinks I should put it where the bell is.
This model.
But this seems very far away.
No, that's not.
Does that feel good for people? You can or you can't? Okay. All right. If it's not working, let me know. I can't because the talk box is over here. Yeah. Something like that.
Right. Okay.
All right. The Ngarangi Yomare di wiring shira Timbo Yomarawa Samsama Lekere Samsama Lekamare Layam Koganu. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the wiring.
Denida categories, nothing that Tamadrica was tuning naturally. That bomb grace.
So then the last of the three, so there's a study or listening, there's contemplation, and then the last is meditation.
That bomb the Latin consumer Nagirba. Then Chamba gom, Larua, Chamba Gondu, Laya color, Ochino Chamba gomna, Tine, that Pentoyore, Laviorwa, Penton Doldomundo, Tine Chamba gom grace. The Naji Choranke. The bomb job loud bomb job, bomb job, bomb job, hanging door. What are they put?
And so then with meditation, so we've been using in the context of study and contemplation, meditation. So say, for instance, on the topic of love. So then finally there's meditation. So if we think like, oh, does cultivating love, does it really benefit or not? Is there really benefit or isn't there? Then the way to really directly know the benefit is through meditation. So then one has to meditate on love, cultivating love. And then one investigates, based on one's experience, oh, is there a benefit here or not?
Right. So also this interesting, right? Meditation. So sometimes we said, okay, before, like example, parking lot, but later on, so interesting. So this not easy, but we meditate. Okay, I love to all the thinking words, right?
I have love for all sentient beings.
Right.
We're meditating. I
So
love
this
all
first thing is
sentient
just-
beings.
Sentient beings, who cares? Okay, me, just only me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just go away. But we can try again and again, meditate. And then sort of little bit clear up, So also the meditate means, okay, then also love means I love you, not like that, But thinking about love or compassion. So first, sometimes better to first thinking of what I want.
What do I want?
Mhm. Or I'm happy, or I want to relax, I enjoy, I become famous, whatever, I become rich, whatever. So many things come up. Okay, I want this, I want this. That's okay. And then look to others. What they want. Really totally different me,
Is it totally different from what I want?
or same thing. I want, they want, So then recover open up. Okay, maybe it's kind of same thing, right? Okay, I want this, they want this. Okay, I'm human beings, they're human beings. So they can recover bigger, And again, you meditate again. Then, so normally, okay, the same. Maybe I try to help, those people. But still the hesitation, I really want to have that one. That's okay. I can, But I don't want to have that one.
On that process you just described sounds a little more like contemplation to me. How do you distinguish between meditation and contemplation?
I think this is kind of interconnected, interconnected.
It's a continuous process.
All right. So kind of what goes analytical meditation, or so they're just you pause, like about yes. So like okay, so first I say, okay, I want this one, and then this other one, the same thing.
But I think the point he's making is that you're getting the feeling to actually arise in the meditation.
So maybe
It's not just thinking
contemplation,
about
you think it over, and then you do formal meditation.
Right.
Doing it again and again.
Again.
Okay.
And then I said it's still, difficult, but then later on, if enough time meditate again, then sort of come up with we said immeasurables, immeasurable love, immeasurable compassion. So that thing that Timmy he gonna do, yeah, Timmy could dance this year, I think that's a flat chart.
Okay. So he said, if the four immeasurables arrive or come, then the self-clinging has become flat.
That we can walk.
We can walk on it.
Maybe you don't need love to walk. But before, the dawns and the ponds and the rocks, very difficult to walk. So every single time we challenge. So that is that here just on the basic dose. It is the
Basic.
단들이마 주념에 치당으로 땅에서 지당으로 오다 주념에 치당으로 되다 보니.
So that's kind of just like a brief introduction, and then to actually, so then he'll go into what the details of how to engage in the practice in the laminager.
Not only laminager, the basic things.
Okay, so just basic things about practice.
In time, as you or the spend a charge in a jigla, March or Nada, then a Druman Roji, Yamne chicken, the Wojita, Academy General Yamne chicken, somebody Wojita, teaching good daily practice, Telayang project, Jerem do Gom Tinyang, with Zoram Home Doja, Nado, and all that, week or Chiachi, China, Koti Langachi, stay before daily practice here the bay.
So it's really important to have a committed routine of daily practice. Whatever it is, there are a lot of different practices to choose from. For instance, you can practice Tara, you could practice Chenrezig, you could practice, the generation stage, or the Ngat Lamga.
And that was the generation, the practice China, the generation stage,
So for instance, like in the generation stage practices, like do a particular visualization of deity, recite the mantra of the deity, and then maybe also do the completion stage, at the conclusion, really just spending some time on meditation. But whatever it is, it's really important to have something and to do it consistently on a daily basis.
제가 나이다 대삼은 딴 거리 딴 것도 미친 디나 그러와 미친 딜라야 거기 기고서 뭐 방디나 걔는 지캔디 미친 지캔디 기나 기고서 뭐 방비나야 맞다 대고고 그래 기보고 그래 대고 기보세야지 류를 대고지가 샘나 대고지 고고요 티인디다 류샘니 개고 대치 중요하게 맨도 어디 다 뭐니 직한다디 Ya chenpo chi took me in a young warm jar vacation.
And so also to sort of think about, the quality of our life, while during the time while we're here embodied, during this life. We in general, in the world, we want to have well-being and happiness. So we want the body to be well, we want the mind to be well. And so, they're really, to actually achieve both well-being of body and mind, meditation is really actually like great medicine. Even if we can't meditate in a like really advanced or really kind of, vast and extensive way, to meditate, to have some practice of meditation in your life, in your daily life, can really actually be very important to mental and physical well-being.
Most important category is bomb thing exercise
So it is often said that, for a good life, in order to have kind of a good, to have well-being in your life, there are 4 things that are necessary, and that is good nutrition, sufficient or good sleep habits, meditation, so some level of meditative absorption, and physical therapies, which could include like physical therapies such as massage or also exercise.
Also talking about the meditation here. So if you in a meditation, so in a meditation means you can, it's meditation, yes, one thing is meditation means no thinking, relax, that is meditation. The meditation like keep going, and then so eventually then what we called maybe free
Free?
training.
Free what? Training?
Turning
10 round, 10 round.
like a wheel, like turn.
No, yeah, 10 round, lap, 10 right, 10 laps.
Flexible.
Flexible, yes. That's dangerous.
Shinjo.
Huh?
Shinjo?
Right, so that means, okay. Okay, something going on, problems, okay? You're angry, or maybe worried, or scary. Oh, right, so that moment I said you training, free train to other way.
You have like like you can easily turn the other way?
Yes, free,
Okay.
free. What means free?
Free
Free to
means,
turn?
yeah, maybe you're free to turn the other way. Yeah.
Right. So then, yes, this issues problems, okay? First thought, or first moment, okay, first minute. Okay. And then turn around, and you can stop. Fun, relax.
You can freely.
So
turn.
then you can control issues, whatever previous problems no longer there. So if the meditation enough, so then you basically able to control whatever issues. So that's how you say free, but I not sure.
An example of that.
Huh?
Sometimes I say an example of that
Mhm.
is sometimes we think that we're doing the right thing. And we believe that we're doing the right thing. And then we kind of realize that maybe I'm not doing the right thing. But I don't want to think bad about myself or have other people think bad about me. So I continue doing the bad thing. But if we're strong, we realize we're doing the wrong thing, and we say, oh, I need to stop. I need to change. I need to go the other way. And that takes courage and that takes strength.
Yeah, that's
Free
true.
to change. Free to change.
Yeah, free change. And also sometimes, yes, you're right too. This is also a good thing too. So sometimes people, this I'm bad, or I'm not good, or I am not smart, or whatever. So that's not right. So also, but same time, you're doing this, you're not keep going. But also,
So I think what he's saying is like if there's something that you feel some sense of remorse or shame about, like to beat yourself up saying, oh, I'm so bad, I'm so terrible, that's not effective. However, to have the mind that you're saying of like, okay, this isn't right, this isn't good, I need to change, to do what you need to change, but to not say, oh, I'm so terrible, I'm so bad. Yeah, to not beat yourself up.
So, and also this not keep going.
Don't keep going in that mistaken direction.
And also I think, okay, maybe not that this, first I said this training, free training.
Free
this,
training.
I want to give one example. So one example, so we have during the cultural revelation, so one, he's kind of, before he's very famous, but then during the cultural revelation, he's kind of extremely suffering.
He suffered.
Famous Ngur.
He was really tortured and there wasn't enough food to eat. No, he's talking about somebody in particular, right?
Yes,
yeah.
The one lama.
One more.
Mm-hmm. So that time is, he said, no, so that time is, I remember he's doing, okay, and also his labor, the working.
Oh, he was in labor. He was put to work in the labor camps.
Mm-hmm. So this is very hard, So, but they have break, this is about 5-minute break. right? So what he's do, the 5 minutes break, he just sits straight, and he has like big jacket, like that. So actually, my father kind of like whatever this. Sorry for him is what this really this is, that situation. I'm so sorry, how hard, how many difficulties and problems. And so said to the person,
He was really sad for his situation.
right? So his reply, no, I no problem. I no suffering. Yes, physical sometimes very hard, but I do 5 minutes, 10 hours, relax totally. And after that walk, I have no issues. I have no suffering, no worry, no problem. I really can't enjoy. So that's I saying just, if someone in a meditation, doesn't matter, conditions. So that's.
Even the worst about our conditions.
I'm curious, the other day you were talking about rather focus on external causes as our problem, or we look inside and resolve it internally. Is this what you mean with the free turning? Something arises, first moment you go outside, but then you turn it, you're free to turn away from that and deal with the condition arising in the mind?
Or maybe.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Right, sounds good. Like, okay. I saying is, I don't know this exactly, not sure my English, but okay, now it's problem. Okay, I problems. Okay. It is problems, like physically problems. Maybe everybody yelling him.
Yes, everybody's yelling at him, saying bad things about him.
Kind of everything just kind of like government thing and just kind of every
government and everything.
Yes, pounding him like kind of looks like miserable, right? At the same time, yes, he feels those are. He has physical pain, yes. Maybe not enough food, even though there is problems, there is issues, there is suffering. At the same time, he just turned, okay, he feel like that, but then he meditates, whatever, just he turn on free.
I think what he means is you can almost like you can turn it inside out. Like it's just sort of the freedom to change it completely.
Well, maybe better is free turn means to switch on off, okay? Like switch on lights, switch off dark. So maybe this is really dark, suffering, and then just he do switch on light. Okay, I found,
Okay, it sounds like you're saying he has the freedom.
Yeah, that's kind of quickly, I said free, quickly. So he on things, so nobody's, okay. The external, nobody changing.
You can't change anything external.
Yeah. Okay, so we can take a break here.
How long? I'll tell.
The meditation. How long should you meditate if it's not working?
How long should you meditate if it's not working for you?
You can't get into that state. You can't get into that meditation state.
Right.
So when does that tell you? That's.
So this, yes. So, so beginning, okay. Beginning, the short.
Do short periods of meditation are better.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
The person that the Jetako in a tambo the categories and a bomb job in the Kabla. Lu lang nga gom jagu do ji pe tindi tambo go maris lu kona rama kare de go na pe loro chi di go es lu.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Um,
Mhm.
was that a bit?
Ota tamo tela.
So when you're first beginning to meditate, it's important, first of all, of course, you want some meditation posture, but you don't want to be rigid. So with the body, it's important not to be like, I am meditating and have kind of a rigid posture. You really want to be relaxed. So it's very important to be completely relaxed. So you relax the body and you let the body kind of naturally settle into alignment.
Tinita gom jab di yang na gom jagu ta na ji chi gu sambe lo hita go maris.
And the same with the mind. You don't need to be like, I am meditating. I'm trying to have some state of meditation in the mind.
So Kargorsina, then is kind of breathing just slow. Is the exhale, not hard mind, but peaceful. This follow those breathing. Exhale, inhale, this follow those breaths.
And so again, the relaxation piece that also maybe tuning into the breath and really allowing your breathing rhythm to become slow, so that you're calming your body and mind with the exhale and the inhale and becoming very relaxed.
Tinita Karsina Koji, Namto Kale, Mewa, Roa, Jingchabo Jinga Namto Shargo Medo Sambu Marina, Koji Namto Tini Baby, Signam Mewa, Tiganta Casimiluna, Sagan Nivionari, Chikanman Nivionari, what I think the Takarmania, the Kabori, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Like that 20 seconds, Tikandi, maybe Namto Mewa, Tinido Chibris.
And so then as you're relaxed and you're calm and you kind of allow yourself to be free of like thinking, or without having a lot of thoughts. So that doesn't happen for very long. In the beginning, it probably can't even happen for a matter of minutes and even seconds. No, I said it can't happen for a minute. It cannot happen because you said kamamare. It can't happen for minutes. Maybe it can happen for some seconds, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, however much time that you can be free from your thoughts, the activity of thoughts.
You're talking about the monkey mind, is that correct?
Dini piu yimba nang shingi sem gikorla lagu sarawa.
Or that Kale monkey mind or it is slow down.
That's right. So the monkey mind will slowly slow down and calm down.
That Chiditine in a Tambo Telatine, huge during the gong maris, to this form, young this form, break chi, young this form, break chi, young this form, break chi, Tini, Tine Kale percent the monkey corona, the monkey mind Kale slow down chagres. Tine gom jabilati store live grace. Tine urine respond and degrees.
So, and it's also, in the beginning, it's better not to try to meditate for long periods. Just meditate in really short periods, try to meditate for a little bit, take a break, come back, meditate for a little bit, take a break. And then eventually what will happen as the monkey mind calms down and slows down a bit, you'll actually feel some like pleasurable feeling in the meditation. You'll feel more relaxed and you'll feel some delight, or you'll start to feel some enjoyment in it. And then when that enjoyment starts arising, then you can extend the periods of meditation to be longer. That's when, then maybe. And if you relax, if you become relaxed, then the monkey mind will slow down. And so then, like when you get, the more that you develop in the meditation, then you'll be able to do it for longer and longer periods, eventually for however long you want.
That's sort of related question. for as far as like having a daily routine practice regularly with consistency, I had for many years had no problem with that and did that. When I arrived at the point of learning the mandala practice, I just like hit a brick wall, and it was seems so complicated. I mean, it's like very interesting, you know. But the ceremonialism, the ritual component of it, and something about it, just I couldn't. I don't know, arouse the
interest.
it's not even interest, just I know my own frustration or laziness, you know, to do it, something, and I never had that experience with and any other practices, you know, whether it was dharma or yoga or stuff like that.
And I'm sorry, I just realized I've been forgetting to repeat the questions for Zoldi. So this just sort of in brief was the question of similar.
Similar what he's saying, like, well, then what do? Do you just not do that practice, or do you just force yourself to figure it out?
Right. So yes. So that kita karsina ko kundi malah mula kini ko kundi junya cita koji baby step no chia the kitchen boris yina yang tanda gom tang chorang kita jangan ni diskayo ina da jangan korang ke do ina ta samne tinding do ji yongse girwa yina yang ta thi kabla ji yang ngan do ba yu mi mai ba ko chia atela focus do chi dina is the boris Tinga karchido dachi do samai do samna this kaborwa.
So just to sort of very briefly repeat what John Allen was asking, which is he was thinking, you know, that maybe his question was similar to the question that came before, which was kind of like, what do you do when meditation doesn't feel like it's working? And this is also at a very beginning stage. And so and then John Allen said that he feels that he was kind of going along with his practice for a while, completed the first 2 sections of Ngur, and then when he got to the mandala, felt a block, maybe partially because of all of the ritual components of the practice. It just didn't feel like it was really working so well, and then that enabled him.
I liked it. I was just confused by it.
He liked it, but he was confused by it and found it challenging. So what to do in that case? And then Dhruvan said, okay, so these are actually 2 kind of different questions, because when it comes to, you know, beginning or starting out with meditation, then it's really important to take baby steps. But in, you know, and sort of gradually develop some familiarity with and the practice. But in your case, it's more like sometimes that will happen. Like we'll feel a resistance, we'll feel a block, we'll feel kind of difficulty in really rousing ourselves to be inspired and focused on the practice. In that case, actually, it's important to rouse yourself to focus on the practice, to actually, to actually summon a sense of like, okay, I need to focus on this.
Perseverance.
Yeah, just do it. You know,
just do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so yeah, you said meditation. Yeah, sometimes, you know, beginning interesting meditation, you know, if you're not familiar, it's harder. But it really is this key point is just loose up. Okay. Also not expecting, or I want meditation. Don't expecting. Just do, just slow. So then eventually this naturally comes. The benefit. But sometimes meditation is something pushing. It's not working. Sort of like as much as possible natural, relax, you know. So sort of like you feeling I got meditation, you think I okay. I not good meditation, you think I be happy. I good meditation, happy.
If meditation is good, I'm happy. If meditation feels not good, I'm happy.
Right. So that's
it works or doesn't.
So this
Yeah.
Like sometimes we just, I want something, this harder, But
If you're wanting something or if you have expectation, you're making it harder for yourself. Mm.
okay, so now it's very late in the break.
How long?
I think 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Come back at 4:05.
Okay.
15, 20, 4 or 5.
James, let me ask you this. Did you do these books? Did you make these booklets up? One for the.
Such a great
and the one
conversation.
with the binder?
We shake its hand very generously.
Do you have the whole
Masses
punching
over.
machine?
Some people are running out to smoke
How'd you
about
do that?
so they can get out fast.
Oh, you went FedEx.
Other people, you know,
What should they charge?
they're cursing each other, they're yelling. Says, I changed my clothes from my robes
For
to my regular
printing
clothes.
and,
Yeah.
perforating.
So this is not what we're supposed to be doing. And here, you have one mindset out there, you're animals.
Right.
Have you ever considered buying machines and doing it yourself?
Okay. Om Dendra Sadhu Samaya Manubalaya Dendra Sadhu Dino Bhai Dida Dido Me Bhava Sudho Kayo Me Bhava Subho Kayo Me Bhava Anurado Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Bhaya Sarva karma sugame zidam shreya guru aho bhagavan sarva dadanga bandharama me mundam bandhar bhava apasamaya sadhu da de da nga zo 단기 다 계산고 옵션 슬로아 되나 이제 고라지 냠내 치는 틀리대야들라 아니 디기오리 스타트 마임비게 지다가 좀 몬도 냠내 치즈니다 고티스티야 자체사 치야들라 그 몬도 스카타 홍시가 나게 당아서 왕 커비가로 왕도 갔으나 저도 지금 근데 그 토비오리 팀이다 왕 톱니 진짜 찾아 친구게 되는 건데 몬도라 되는 치 몬도 난 몬도 근데 요리 팀인데 다 팀 이제 막 갈세나 아다 뭐지 팀 3대기 요와 3대기도 팀인데 3대기 지기식 다 마시지 하고 요리 이나양 칸디스 치고 그래서 상탕보 칸디스 뛰고 그래서 트리치가 빈스
So, as he started off saying, it's really good to have a consistent daily practice. And so, whatever practice that is fine. So, for instance, any deity practice that you choose. And then if you're interested in kind of going more, sort of in depth through the progressive stages of the path, according to the fivefold path of Mahamudra, then it's good to embark upon the practices of Ngundro, or the preliminary practices. And so we received the empowerment for practicing the fivefold path of Mahamudra the other day. And so having received that empowerment, it empowers you, or kind of grants you the permission to go through those progressive stages of practice, the fivefold path of Mahamudra. And then that path of the fivefold path has its preliminary. There are the preliminary practices. There are both the outer and the inner preliminaries. And so today, and then very often this path of practice is one that is practiced in retreat. So first, Drubala said he will talk a little bit about how to do retreat, how to do like a sealed retreat.
That in some the level of Jitan some day at la Jitano Chivina and some day doing that children or Ondan or Segro Tinigila, some day aki, should you those.
So Chidro dan Gonda Chibo.
Go to the one, go to Yat Chiana, Chidota, at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, go to Yat.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. And so traditionally, usually retreat starts, if you start a retreat, it's usually started in the either afternoon or evening. So like maybe say around 4 or 5 o'clock.
인탄가 히틀리티 스트레스인데 지난 두고서레스.
But it's also okay to do it later too, to start the session later, like at night.
다 대치도 단 삼등 고조비네 칼라 같이 고들라나. 데이터 단단가 전 exactly 같이 고스는 것도 다 opening prayer 동구여로 다티 어떤 동구레스.
And so the first thing that you do when you begin your retreat is you go through the full prayer recitation of the opening prayers. So just like we do at the beginning of the teachings here, the whole recitation of the Dhamma.
Dhamma and also Theravada summoning prayer. No need to say that these 3 course teachings.
Oh, so all the way through up to that 7-line prayer, which is what, page 15, but you don't do the request for teachings.
That in that tilla TG Teletin, Mazda, Chasom Laborta, 3 dormas. What that take ma Penacha in that data, magic Ben and Samro, Devuna, Tinita, a jig. Tambodamro, Don, Tinichilon, Wondo, Tinachina, Digi, or Isra. In a Chilotonia, Mandina, in a Canada Yanta, Tadam te Ton, Tinet and the Carsecure, in Ladumba, the Don Savi Hilton, Chasom Catormate, Tongo.
And so then the next thing is that there is the practice of offering the 3-part torma, the 3 tormas. And so that is what kind of seals the retreat or marks the sealing of the retreat. And so ordinarily, like if one person is staying in retreat, there are different degrees to which it might be sealed. It can be the case that it's not completely sealed in the sense that you can go outside, or, for particular purposes, one might come and go outside. But and then sometimes it is the case that you seal into whatever your dwelling is so that you don't go outside. And then so you do, when you start the retreat, you do the recitation of the Dhamma, which is beginning, from the beginning of the opening prayers to the 7 branches, the 7, page 15. And then you do the Chasum Torma, or the 3-part Torma.
That in the Tormatama, Chilama, Shalu, that Chilahani. Casey Tajik, something at Chilo and Rogman or Zambina, Chasum Dormat, Chilo Sha. Chilo attack on the usual on our home, which 2 or what, Goma Yap, Tinetakoji, something Madu part, which Lotana Yomara, in Taco some Karichin and Digioris. I was once and some of not such a the part of doing the which some Digior, what that take in Taco boundary in the water, so I think Chasum Dormat Chadioris.
So it's really the Chasum Torma, or the 3-part Torma, that sets the boundary and seals the retreat. So what happens is, say, for instance, if you're sealing your retreat in such a way that you're not going outside of your dwelling, you offer the torma outside, and that each of the tormas, and that's your last time to step outside, and it seals the boundary there. And then usually you put an image of Om Hung on the front of your door, and then you close the door and then you're sealed in. Or if you are in a situation where you go outside, then you mentally set a boundary. So you say, okay, the scope of my retreat is within this boundary, and you kind of set wherever it is, that the boundary is, and then you don't go outside of that.
That band of Chashavina, Ridan did Tinino China, that Yatan we now put that something good to do. Pena that and the Chachachambung and then King Mondo Chivina. 2 more cheer mondo only that. 2 more cheer mondo tella. Lot of number here, you are lot of number here. Tieni da che si lot of number here with the Guna. Lot of number here. Terima Chatang mal tasties to know today. Ma this form in a young tune tom, mother, Nima Tambotella, that basically preparation of your mother with huge when your mother was Tankando was over, if somebody is in that way, you cassette some set up chi is solo logic. That is cassette the boundary or separated the chetan, nani was negotiating taste. Do some tea level, Senata Tiniji connection, me or logic. Techiamato with huge kidney and Chatanji, Tinal Bania by Yurumbo in a career, I think, who is somebody's.
And so, and as you begin, then you go through, with the fivefold path of Mahamudra, we have the outer preliminaries, the inner preliminaries, and so the outer preliminaries are the four thoughts that turn the mind. And so then, after the 3-part Torma, you do, the recitation of the four thoughts that turn the mind, contemplate the four thoughts that turn the mind a bit. And then you do, when it comes to the first day of practice, you can make the session shorter. So you're sort of like starting off the retreat. So it's more of like that day, that evening, afternoon is mainly filled with preparation, and also kind of like dropping into the retreat, sealing the retreat, doing some practice, but you're not like doing a full session. So you're not, for instance, like really focusing on doing like the full amount of accumulation that you might do ordinarily in your session. So it's really just like relaxing into the retreat, having taken the time to set everything up, everything is set up, everything is prepared. And then you're sort of settling into creating this separation between the inside and the outside. So that there's kind of this, the sealing that happens, and then the kind of sphere is established of, the space of retreat, where you become kind of disconnected from the outside.
Choba Yamia, go your Tina, so Cheho de Tanga, Choba Nenga, Zidita, Manchoba Dunsala, Choba Dunsa Tabu Glorious. Tiana Yita, Chona, Inchimini, Chona, the Pumani go yours, T, maybe in Inchimini, Pumaji go yours. Pumaji Chita, Goyato, Darotan, Tibu go yours.
And so, of course, there are some differences with regard to the different like accoutrements or substances that you'll need during a retreat, depending upon what practice you're doing. But generally, like if it is a practice that is part of the so Oh, okay. So he said, if you're doing, for instance, a retreat on the outer preliminaries, then you might, so what you would have probably is you would arrange a shrine. And on that shrine, you would have the representational offerings of like the 7 representational offerings, or what we sometimes call like the water bowls. And so if you have those representations of the 7 offerings, then you also have to bless the offerings daily. So that means that you need to have, you should have 2 boombas or vases. If you don't have 2, you definitely need to have 1. And you should also have a damaru and a bell.
Is it a pot or a vase?
This one is a vase.
Okay, I thought so.
The bumba, the vase, it's this, it's like this.
Tiikita jikzama ina da jikma zo samdi we kala tuya tini yungu marwa ina yang ko jik kala sa cha we hugri na le kadu na jik ka jik tazang jik isma chupshi no ja go go res na tiga na pumbe kitene jik ta pagi la jik ma tangwa tsama chaya ala tani karse gore ram yam kham se ya tindi tani bajo bubu is bektin chu pumbe na ya to sang chutin this ram yam kham tor bubu is.
And so then, so when during your retreat, so you should fill the vases up with saffron water. So it should be saffron water. And what you'll be using the vases for is both for washing out your mouth, like after you eat, and then also the water from the saffron water from the vase, and then also like blessing the offerings that are arranged on the altar, the shrine. And so actually in some retreats, you actually don't shower for the whole duration that you're in retreat, but you do wash your mouth out with the saffron water. And then you also bless the offerings on the shrine with the ram yam kham, and that involves, using the bumpa and the feather from the bumpa.
다 디인데 다 로도 넘버 히 참로 디비나 드니 기타다 로도 레라 드니 고지 dunha re deya ke luksu yang yore 다 dunha 니리 deya ke luksu yang yore 다 dunha somre deya ke luksu ndo yosare ina 다 depending ki tusu ndo chi ko tanga so wa yo marwa ina ko at least dunha chi bena People use at least to not take in Unikawa, net to not take Sematawa, to not take Legion Day, to not take Tanko when you make so the people use at least.
And so if you usually, when, practicing a path of retreat, you start off doing a retreat on the four thoughts that turn the mind. And there are different durations that this retreat is done for. Usually sort of at the least, it is 1 week per contemplation. Sometimes it is 2 weeks, sometimes it is 3 weeks. But it should be at least 1 week a thought, within the four thoughts. So meaning that for 1 week, you contemplate the difficulty of achieving a precious human rebirth with leisures and endowments. For 1 week, you contemplate impermanence and death. For 1 week, you contemplate karma, cause, and effect. And for 1 week, you contemplate the suffering of cyclic existence, or the unsatisfactoriness of samsara.
That in the Bena, that was a two single, what that you someday 2 single. That 2 single, March, 2 him indoors, and that 2 shadow is in the way. That 2 tambotel, and you can't show an idea, down, and that the Tagilapsa your water, and that the not the button, don't go with it. That 2 nipa, no, don't sumba. Shiva the Zoina, 2 go like Mason beyond, don't. Ne직 상지 초소로 겸로드당 되는 만남과 관련과 선견스 된동.
And so there are different ways when it comes to, how time is structured in retreat. It's structured based on practice sessions. So there are different ways to divide the day into practice sessions. The most common is to have 4 sessions a day, so 4 practice sessions a day. So your time is structured into these four sessions. You start your session each day with doing the longer opening prayers. So for instance, you would do like what you did at the beginning of the retreat, which is going through the whole Dagdangma, the 7 branches. And then when it comes to the second, third, and fourth session, then you wouldn't go through the whole Dagdangma the beginning of each session. You would do abbreviated opening prayers, like taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and the 4 immeasurables.
Within Jangchubling Lavudi, that 2 tambo telayang, Bendo Chashavina, Choran Tene, Benalodo number he, Tenjoni Gavit, Samroji, they are in Mina. Tene 2 tambo tel Makato, Tinjonikawa, Semetawa, Legunde, Kurinyame, Jiglo, Sarjik, Tini Yandro, Tini Tinjonikawa, Sarjik, the Tiganda, Tinjonikawa, Kadina, Gondu, yes.
So, for instance, if you are doing a retreat on the four thoughts that turn the mind,
Particular
but in particular, you're focusing on the first of the four thoughts, which is the difficulty of achieving a precious human rebirth with leisures and endowments. Then, following the text, you would read through each of the verses on the four thoughts. So you would read through the difficulty of achieving a human rebirth with leisures and endowments, the verse on death and impermanence, the verse on karma, cause and effect, and the verse on the faults of cyclic existence or samsara. But then you would go back and you would read again the first verse on the difficulty of achieving a precious human rebirth with leisures and endowments.
Right, so that's 1 week, right? So that's,
And you would be focusing on that for 1 week.
in a sort of study that that's making it that in a two nipatan, two sumbatan, two hiva de latine, taking your teachatan or number him don't go much capital, tinjor nikawati, is it in your nikawa Yamnachiana? Tinjor nikawa and go degrees.
However,
practice.
However, for the second, third, and fourth sessions, you wouldn't read through all of the verses of the four thoughts. You would just go straight to the verse that you're working on, which is, in this case, the first verse, the difficulty of achieving a human rebirth with leisures and endowments.
Short dedication.
So then also with the first, second, and third sessions, you would do an abbreviated dedication at the end of the session. And then sometimes for the third, most often, okay, what you should do is for the third session also is a Dharma protector practice. So the Dharma protector practice happens always on the third session, like towards the end of the third session.
Tun tamatela, tun tami shutela, more carchigo over the Pandochi, Tinanga Heki, more Molamdo, Sanjo, Himba Molamdo, Karen, don't we on us, don't degrees. That's something don't want to be in a young, this more Japanochi.
And then for the final session, the fourth session, then you do a longer dedication. So that would be when you do like the full recitation of the extensive dedication prayers, and maybe you would add like a special aspiration prayer, like the King of Aspirations or the dedication chapter, or any other additional dedication prayers that you would want to add.
제가 나기다 쇼케야 니 세움비가라 이 세마 타발라티니 조완하고 집에 기본하고 집하고 좀 생각하시는 직원에 마시요 말이 제가 나기게 담비 추치야 가깝지라요로 티니지라도 다 tellayang 직kana for immediate bonoro senjana dewa tan dewi tan emerge 동마다 동마 기타 대화지 maybe 대화 세야다 다 틀리람들이 양나 생겨난 비교와 건데 농감당체 녀들라나 미비 창조는 뭐지 더 봐쇼 선반도지 대치가 대인들이 그러니까 직선제 탐지기 동남아 비교치고 로선반도지.
And so then the next morning, when you wake up early the next morning for your first session, and then just as you wake up, it's important to really feel a sense of sort of delight a gladness or a joy, that is from kind of this sacred space of retreat, thinking, oh, how wonderful. I didn't die last night. I woke up and I have this incredible opportunity to really go deeply into practicing the Dharma. And so then with that, then you recite the four immeasurables. So you can recite either, the version of the four immeasurables that's just as we have it in our prayer book, or there's also a shortened form, which is like, may all beings be happy, may all beings be free from suffering, and may they all quickly reach the state of fully perfect and complete awakening. And then you think, and it's with this intention in mind that I'm dedicating my time here and during this day and in retreat, sort of exclusively, focusing without any other distraction on practice.
제가 나기더니 다 기타 남주인도 있는 것보다 진초바 옵션 제야 되고 온다라 제니 쇼티라 푸티니 치리어와 얘는 양 3대비네 갑라 그 말이 되는 3대비네 갑라 되네 다 되는 티 오픈도 당 되네 데 워터보트 튼순베케 조글도 차 되네 양 저장마소 양 양자이 양잡도 푸 티니 치고 그래스.
And so ordinarily also when it comes to the offerings that are arranged on the altar, so like in daily life, how we usually do it is like we take down the offerings, the water, we empty the water at night, we clean out the bowls, we turn the bowls over, and then we, arrange all the offerings the next day, right? We fill the bowls, we arrange the tea for the protector practice, for Achi. But in retreat, it's different. What you do is you keep the offerings are always active, meaning that you change them once a day, and usually you change them during the third session. So what that means is, you take out the tea offering for Achi when you do the protector practice during the third session, and then you also change out the water. So you empty the water, you clean the bowls, but instead of turning the bowls over, you just fill them right back up again, so that throughout the night, throughout the day, the shrine is always open, it's always active. So the change happens during the third session.
What that can be Gineta, what in your Penachawina, young, some to Zola young, Teniorta, Penatanda wina, young, some Jignima raised in it up and Tati would depend on what's on the winner, that some loss on Choson Road in Rio Marwa. Tajik loss on Choson Road, Senate, Divina, Koda, Lord number here, Charter, this chick at some this 200 degree or Inayata and that, or Jig.
So, it depends. There, often retreats that are done for different periods of time. So there's like a whole nother kind of program in a way of like regarding the structure if you're doing say like a 3-year retreat, but for most of us we're not doing three-year retreat, so usually we're doing smaller chunks of retreat time, and so for instance with the 4 thoughts that turn the mind, usually it's considered best to do them consecutively. So you do, the 4 thoughts that turn the mind all as one retreat, doing say however many weeks for each thought, and then conclude the retreat after having finished the contemplation on the 4 thoughts. But sometimes also it can be that like, you do a retreat for 1 thought, one of the 4 thoughts, you come out, and then at another time you do another retreat for the second of the 4 thoughts. So you can do it and also like that, and kind of retreat periods for contemplations on each of the 4 thoughts individually.
Can I ask a question? If earlier we were setting the boundary of the retreat, and we don't go outside again. But then when it comes down to take down the water bowls and take down the circum offering and so on, do we go outside?
It's a good question.
No,
No, we don't go outside?
No.
So where does the water go?
Throw in the window.
Throw it out the window. Or out. Mhm.
So you can open the door and just.
Right. So actually they have the window. So depending, sometimes you see this kind of make the boundaries. So interesting. So they kind of have many defense systems. So like for example, if you need to go outside, so then you beginning, you take 3 dormers out, right? That time just imagine, okay, you can make the boundary.
You can make your own boundary in your mind. This is the boundary. However,
Right, so your boundary just only inside the house, or maybe on the fence, or maybe maybe 10 feet outside diameter or something.
So there's a practical mindfulness needs to be applied.
Right. So you first set up, first there, just so you put the Omaha home somewhere, but then you're thinking, okay, right, you really necessary, you maybe no need to, maybe not in a window, you know, these days window is difficult, you know, like screens. You can open the window, but sometimes difficult. So this kind of situation, then you're thinking, okay, I go outside 10 feet long, something like that. And also, some people maybe see you something, bring the food or whatever, bring, food or need to visit. So that's we call the samdi, means the
like the retreat companions. There might be certain people you see during retreat, but you only see those people, and you don't speak with them, but they might come and give you food, you know, or deliver things for you. But they're your retreat companions, and they may not be in retreat, but you've designated that these are the people I can see while I'm in retreat. Outside of that, you don't see other people.
All right. So that time is we call samdi. Samdi means the retreat tents, the pebble or stone.
Oh yeah, the stone or the pebble, like retreat pebbles or retreat stones.
So which means you're thinking, okay, someone coming, right? So that name, so you did bring one piece of the pebble or stone. So bring into your house. I understand.
So they bring a piece of stone or a pebble. You have a pebble or like a rock that represents each of the people who are going to be your kind of caretakers or companions on retreat. So you have a rock or a pebble that represents each of those people that you bring into your retreat dwelling, and you have there like as representations.
So, right, you don't want to take out. You said I'm not going out, whatever. So same time, so this your stone is inside. So
you
so
take
that
the
person,
stone.
so also stone,
yeah.
Okay, maybe 2 people. So maybe you have 2 pieces stone. Okay, this is that person, and this is that person. So can't imagine. So then those people you can see.
Are you following?
Is that where pet rocks came
What
from?
are the rocks?
They're your pet rocks. Yeah.
And then,
Hold on, I'm sorry, could you repeat how the rock?
Yeah, we're not sure of that.
So
You
it's
have 2
like
rocks.
you.
How do you indicate who you want to come in?
Okay, I'm in retreat. Okay. So I'm in retreat inside. So this I took, okay, making these 3 dormers. So before take all the 3 dormers, or maybe Virginia bring the food coming. So there's this rock. This is Virginia. I put here
Here as well.
inside
Inside
Right.
somewhere in
inside
your, in
my
your
retreat
space.
or
It's
space.
a retreat dwelling house. Yeah.
So then later, so the Virginia is inside not like outside person.
Meaning the stone, even though I am not in retreat with him, but I am seeing him throughout his retreat, like from time to time, it's not as though I'm an outside person because he has a stone inside that represents me. So it's like I'm there in retreat with him. Does that make
So
sense?
stone represents
Yeah.
our heart.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, stone represents what?
There's a stone for each person you will allow inside.
Yeah.
the decor.
Which is already there.
Right. So because in the Tibet, so some areas no water, So there's some we call this the attendant, the attendant.
Attendant to the retreatant. Mhm.
So they bring the water inside,
They have to come actually into their retreat space to bring the water.
right? And also this very often, time to time, like firewood, fire yak down, and so that's not the retreat cabin is not like big storage thing. So maybe I don't 2-3 days or need to bring the firewood, and also as well as the food. So normally in the Tibet, they cook, they cook, but there's always the connections, the outside people. So then these 3-4 people, whatever. So before the 3 Dharma take out, this is that person, this stone, this person. So have to thinking and sort of like imagine also person,
That's the person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we have a question from online.
Hmm?
Person asks, if we don't have a bumpa, is there some kind of teapot that can be substituted? And if we don't have a shrine or an altar, can we use a photo or an image or even like an iPad to display an image? Is that a possibility?
Like an image of an altar?
Or an image of whatever.
I think we no issue these days. I think we found the Pumba and altar.
So maybe that's his answer of get yourself a Boomba and get what you need for an altar.
This is how I-
Going back to the Torma offering, I'm not familiar with a 3 Torma prayer offering. Well, what would that be?
Right. So okay. So I think next. What is the next? I show you how make the 3 dharmas.
Well, we are going to have a session on Thursday where Drubran Rinpoche will show us how to make the 3 tormas for the 3-part torma. And at that time, he can also show you the text. Yeah, we have a complication with the translation of the text because we're not supposed to use it. But anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Also, just so you know, there's been a request for the Nundro loan from online.
All right. Okay. So right. So this I think back to that question. So actually, this better. Okay. So we the best way is tradition. So I think not big deal in the 7 offerings, So they can use, maybe like glass bowls or different bowls, that's fine, but you cannot use like iPad.
You can't use your iPad, yeah.
Okay, or
But
just
you can-
image pictures.
But he's saying like, basically for the altar, like you can, all you need basically is like a table. You can make it kind of pretty with nice like coverings. And then you can use, like if you have 7 bowls, like if you can use whatever material, you can use glass, of course it's nice if they're equal size or the same bowls. So you can sort of do things that are a little bit outside of the tradition to a certain extent, but not to the extent of using an iPad.
We draw the line at the iPad.
We draw the line at the iPad.
It's one thing I forget. So this have to have also the refuge tree.
What was that?
You have to have an image of the refuge tree.
Which we provided.
Yes.
Do you have a question about the rocks? Do the rocks live outside at any point or are they always inside?
So this you have to bring before the 3 Dharma offering.
You bring them in before the 3-part torma.
Okay, when do they go back out again?
No, doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, you have to live there.
You leave them there for the
Okay.
duration of the retreat.
Okay.
Right, yes, during
That's
the
what you
retreat.
just
So,
thought.
yeah, that person always look like there, you know.
So she's there. She's not just-
So during the third session, then when you empty the water bowls and replenish them, then what are you doing with the bumba and the saffron water? What is?
The blessing of the,
Yeah, this we
Yeah.
called like, okay, always we said we said purify, you know, cleansing.
cleansing.
So cleansing is the same thing. Like ordinarily, we something dirty we wash, you know, or sometimes unclean we can put the air outside,
We'll
Or-
hang in the air outside
right?
like a
And then
blanket.
sometimes these the bacteria they have
Fire.
fire.
So
this
water,
ordinarily-
wind, and fire.
So same way we every time with these offerings. So sometimes I don't know this clean or not. Also the real clean means we don't know, but we imagine completely clean.
But
So this
he's
first we said this
Maybe a
like
demonstration.
Ram Yam Kam, right? Ram Yam Kam. So I think maybe you can light incense,
that's fire.
fire. So so sometimes we do like. I think this is some of the rules. I know, but okay, I can say you can light incense. So there's, and then you put this like scatter this water,
Sprinkle the water.
right? And then like this
The wind.
wind.
Mhm.
And do we do that each session or just the third session through, or each session do we then do that, or?
I think you can do maybe the beginning
First session.
first session morning,
Okay.
and then this third session you can new water bowls, but probably maybe not in session.
Okay.
If you do that, that's fine. But I think
Not necessary.
right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Right. So this interesting. So the so we here okay clean we wash because we are a washing machine,
Because we have a washing. Oh, dishwasher, he means.
a
Yeah.
dishwasher, a washing machine.
Oh, both.
Both.
Okay.
But in the Tibet, so this we cleansing is air and more mainly stuff fire.
Mm.
So what we do interesting, right? So we almost like big blankets, probably never wash.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, they're heavy.
So then kind of with also sometimes with like hairs, sheep or sheep skin with the hair. So then the winter time very the windy, and they just beat them. So that's just if somebody guest comes, that's a special.
Oh,
Cleansing.
the clean one.
And also we do this kind. That's actually really. I think maybe really good cleansing. So we very put like cedar smoke, cedar branch like big smoke like underneath. Whatever the big blanket, something particular, lamas, teachers come. So that time is just maybe 4 people, like big blanket hold, and then just big like
Air freshener.
this
Yeah.
like big underneath like smoke, like cedar wood, cedar. So actually this, yes, I think really right now, I think this good thing, maybe bacteria,
Yeah.
even though can tell.
Fumigation.
Yeah. So that's we do, but anyway, so that's we say ramyam.
Thank you.
Why not all 5?
Mhm.
What do you mean, why not all 5? Oh, all the elements. The ramyam kam chikpo gari the chegyo ba gijimsen gari yana the jumbo nga yorowa tininga chatsang ma chebe gijimsen gari.
Rita tera tanda tian jungang ngaji rita zo karsana koti ko tarji zeji yo tarji te ko jungang som ki tang ro yo.
Because
That's almost
when it comes to that
Kita jungang
quality,
shila jungang ngala tengo yo ri ina yang tanda tarji de la ko 때 중화성 타도 그랬어.
When it comes to that quality of like cleansing and purification, that property is really part of those three. So even though of course everything is, all 5 elements are complete, that property, that the cleansing property is really what occurs through the elements of fire, wind, and water.
Or what do you do after you rinse your mouth with the saffron water? What do you just put it swallow? Does it go somewhere special?
Off the window. Like,
That's how you feed the
actually
rocks.
throw out, yes. What?
Spit it out.
We used to not, slow. Make marwa.
Yeah, usually you don't swallow it. And spit it out.
Like a mouth rinse.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have here the West, this kind of traditions. But actually, this in the monasteries have to wash every enter of the monastery. So, and then also this talk as an choba seatita in a choba de karipu yonata in a disco focus in the watch, sama pe floru the watch. Hari yago you are the watch, the watch you are starting. Lekes on the watch, rule the watch, chigu today. My bakasnati, Kasi this Bahoru, the watch, war in a jigmoni shining you are the thing of chabina, go teak of him or what. In that other time, so no work, what you look at the middle china, please. Chobele, this, same this for
So the practice of offering, and it's really like you do want to put special care and focus into the offerings, but it's also important to do so in a way that's really relaxed and really enjoying it. So it becomes a joyful process. You don't want to get all uptight about like, this is the way it's supposed to be done, or thinking that it's kind of like there are a lot of rules and it has to be perfect and it needs to be this and that. But you do want to take extra care, because in the extra care, in the enjoyment of it, that is how it becomes like a beautiful part of the practice. Like, so that means, you want to make the bowls shine. You really put the effort into making them shine, or you choose kind of the most beautiful, the most exquisite, of offerings to arrange, you really take the care to do it, in the proper way, but with joy. So it's important to do it like that in a way where the mind is relaxed, and also there's this quality of brightness in the mind. You don't want it to become like a stressful thing around rules.
So I actually sometimes I miss, so in the Tibet, the families, so I think mostly maybe 90%. So just only whatever, so just wake up, then look the altar, so just really nice, clean, and then water bowl, and like incense, like that butter lime. So kind of open in the morning, like kind of sort of joyful, like kind of special, kind of celebration, sort of like. Then whatever good, then they get tea, But we are just wake up, look at the poem, There maybe there are issues, So, but anyway, so this sometimes, I don't know, we maybe don't have the custom here, but if you can just look up a more focus. The offering is, yes, we said 7 bowls, right? But really is we cannot set limit, okay, now right, now it's wrong. But as much as you can, relax, Okay, but also this Buddha, the reason is we accumulate merit. Okay, actually you said, okay, this according to Buddha Dhamma. Okay, Buddha maybe not cares you're clean or not clean, or but if you relax, a nice, just kind of focus that moment, we merit
Is merit for us.
us. So that's the reason, you know. Then nothing rules, you know.
No, it's not about rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Intention.
Kunlong.
Yeah, this you know. Well, then that's also the imaging, you know. So as much as you can nice and arrange, and then this program to Buddha, Dharma, or Sangha, or that's
It's about mindfulness, establishing the mindfulness.
yeah, mindfulness in the pure and relax. So I think now it's sadly, I don't know, maybe in the Tibetans they're changing, you know. But otherwise, these Tibet, their families, the water bowls, extremely shining. The water bowls, like.
The butter lamp bowls. I think he means the vessels for the butter
doesn't matter this
lamps.
look copper or brass or silver or like extremely shining. Just it's
They
really
put
nice
elbow grease
kind of
into
like
it.
cotton cloth. Maybe Tibet they dry, you know. Florida is just moisture. They can change the door. I don't know. There's two actually too. I think the Tibet the air is really thin. I don't know. I never see the silver changes. You know.
That's
So
interesting.
here it's just brass, and copper is just.
It gets tarnished very easily.
Just
Yeah.
really.
It might be
dark.
the moisture.
So we have like I remember this my family like some we have that Lee water lamp. That Lee is very good. So
Lee, I'm not sure what Lee is, but that's Lee.
That's Lee. We have right now. We have
those
all the water
bowls.
bowls, vest, everything's Lee.
So it's like
is the
a type of
best
metal.
quality. So normally not change the color.
Might be brass, but
No,
I think Drubon
no.
says no, it's not brass.
No.
It's not platinum.
I don't think it's platinum. That would be.
No. This is the mix.
Those would be some expensive water bowls.
No. This is mix. I think 7 metals.
7
mix.
metals mixed together.
Is that the same as
Maybe.
like the shaving tool for the tea offering?
No, that's different. So that's the more specific. They are copper, gold, silver, turquoise, coarse. But this is Lee, I think, but two, I think iron too. I think iron.
Iron.
Cast iron.
Cast iron?
Yeah, I think so. Because these can't break.
You
But these
can't-
all the same thing. These kind of maybe similar. But still they become black, you see. But those qualities, but I didn't see in the Tibet, like even though copper.
Stay shiny.
Yeah, still shiny and copper or brass. So those are like copper. So Lane, very good job. You can do the
Shiny.
copper cleaning. So I don't know how last long.
Magic claws.
How do you spell it? Okay.
Lee. You mean Lee?
In Tibetan.
Okay.
Just Lee. Lee.
Yeah,
So
but what is
spell
that? So in Tibetan? Salatalagigali?
No, I think Lee is
Lagigali?
Lee. I think Lee.
So he thinks it's Lagiguli.
Yeah, those are we have because I ordered all the pumbas and the water bowls, all the Lee. So this one.
I'd just like to make sure the request for the loan for Ngur was heard.
I did not hear it.
Yes.
So one of the students is requesting the loan.
Okay.
Drubon, after the 4th session, when you rest, go to bed, if the altar is still set up, do you use a butter lamp rather than a candle? Because you can't get up every 2 hours to replace your candle.
What?
So when you go to bed after the last session, your altar is still set up, but you can't be lighting a candle every 2 hours while you're sleeping.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Go up.
That's okay. But also a little bit different here, you cannot, this
But
not
your
last long.
bowls are still up,
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay. But we are that. That's, I don't know, maybe Tibet, so they are bottle lamps will be big. but
Last of all.
Mhm.
Last long time. Okay, so people really want the transformations now,
Well, there was one request.
or maybe they.
This session.
Maybe another session is fine.
Okay, we can do that at that session.
No text.
In the evening session.
I have
You
here.
got no text in the back.
I have. Or I don't know.
Mm.
Okay, so
Sign up.
okay.
Are Butche, Lee?
Lee, yes. Bupchi is Lee, Senior is Lee.
So he's saying the symbols are also made of this metal that's called Li. So both the ones with the bubble, which are called the bupche, and the other kinds, which are the flat, that have they're both made out of that metal.
So if you dropped it,
It can
there's a
break.
real good chance that it would shatter.
Right.
We do have one with a crack in it.
One more question.
Yeah.
So it's brittle.
Yeah, it's like a symbol for drum set, typical drum. I mean, similar, not the same kind of thing, but you drop one of those. But okay, lots of pieces too.
So there's a question from online asking, is there a certain direction the altar should face? Should it face north? Should it face south?
Mm.
I think it's not big deal what is convenient. But I think sometimes they said, so we face to the altar, that's fine. So sometimes maybe sitting like this, then maybe altar, so the water bowl head is this side.
So what he's saying, I think, is if it's in front of you,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter where the shrine is positioned, but that the water bowls are going left to right if it's
No, no.
facing you, or what?
You should sit in front of the altar.
You're sitting in front of the altar.
Yeah,
Okay.
so then that's okay.
Yeah.
Be in front of-
Yeah.
Then you the water not big deal.
So then it's not a big deal where the shrine is where the
Stop.
altar is positioned. What's
Stop.
important is that you're sitting in front of it. Yeah.
But if this way, so this like this range.
But if it's like this, like side by
So
side.
then maybe if this side, then maybe like this water.
So
bowl for
here, if it's next to you, like see, he's sitting here. So you see that it
Argan
is
first this
that
side.
the water bowls are going in the order of from where you are. So from like this is the center, so it's from the center out. Does that make sense? Like when we're talking argan, padyam, pushpe, dupe,
So Argon would be closest to
argan
you.
is closest to you.
So same thing. This is argon close to me.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
Is Gande the same as the washing with mouth water? Is that something?
argon, gindi,
Gande.
argon, padyam,
Te pena dinda ti chu yang ka chuya dang chipada water begende. Marewa?
gindi,
Yeah.
nivede, gindi therawas de tazaro.
Yeah, so no, because ginde is more like perfumed water. So it's like about scent and anointing with scent. Mhm.
Like perfume?
Yeah, like perfume. Mhm.
There are more questions, but I'll save them for the next session.
Okay.
I have a question for the time.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you can ask your question.
Are you okay? You okay?
My question can also wait for another time, but I was hoping that you could talk a little bit about the importance of, first of all, of doing retreat as opposed to daily practice, like what the benefit of that is. Like you can practice a lot during the day, you can have multiple sessions during the day, but not really in retreat. And so how is retreat different? And also about the importance of having a sealed retreat.
Mm.
And I'm asking partly because the times when I've had little retreats, I know something funny happens with my mind, like I start fighting it a little bit, and I'd like to be able to appreciate and understand what's special about that?
고소해. So should I repeat the question? So for the people on Zoom. So the question is, what is the difference or benefit of really having a retreat, as opposed to maybe practicing a lot in your daily life, but not actually making it a retreat, because you could practice throughout most of the day, but then why is there the need to like actually create the kind of container of retreat maybe? Because in her own experience, sometimes she's found that when creating the retreat, it becomes like an internal struggle maybe, or there's some resistance there kind of.
Something happens.
Something
yeah.
happens.
It's not
and-
necessarily negative, but
Mhm.
I'm bumping up against something and I want to understand what that is, because I think that might be a good thing to understand. That might be why it's important
Mhm.
to do retreat.
Mhm. And then the question was like, so basically what are the benefits of having specifically retreat as opposed to just practicing, and why a sealed retreat? What's the benefit of doing a sealed retreat?
Really, that really is also depending the own situation. So I think they're both is benefit, so. But first, I think it really is the more beneficial daily practice, better than the sealed retreat.
And more important is having a consistent daily practice.
Right.
than
So
sealed
because
retreat.
here is like, so it's like depending like locations, or the retreat center, big retreat center, and this kind of situation, yes. You just completely sell the two, really focus. So whatever you finish cooker and can you focus? But here we don't have. So
we may not have, I think what he's saying is we don't necessarily have a supportive environment to go into sealed retreat in. Like if you're at like a retreat center, that provides a certain amount of support, but without those conditions, it's maybe harder, I think is what he's saying.
retreat center mewa ko manchis nalo da tini da samde yorwa chia tindi in bataya tiga naji ko tambo yang nyamnyong shok chimbo hyo mi ina yang ko ngone ji ko ta ni kan nyamle kasi chigo na tindi ji ko sel retreat mena this yasare samdo
So gongta tambo nyamnyong chimbo mena gare
ta nyamnyong chimbo mi ina tini ji pe sel retreat in lela uyamarwa.
Yeah. So he said, in the West, like because of these conditions, if you don't have the conditions to like go to a retreat center and have that support, then, it can actually be, because in the beginning, if you're not at a point where like strong experiences arising, then and you have to do retreat like in your own home. So then it may not be actually all that beneficial to do sealed retreat.
Yes, I think the two beneficiaries here. So one hand is
maybe
so
I misunderstood.
So we don't have the specific retreat center. And secondly, kind of familiar, so sometimes completely, close, so harder too, so because easier to can focus. Sometimes we think, just close is better. Yes, one hand is better, okay, but one hand is challenge too. So I think the better. So. Like my case.
In that case, he's saying it's better. Maybe what is better?
Better is the
not sealed retreat.
Right. So like my case in the retreat center. So these conditions, okay, they provide the food.
Mhm.
I don't need anything. And then, yes, so better, if I wondering, I just half this, practice, half this. So then, but I cannot go other things. So that's better. So
he was in such a controlled environment where he, even if he wanted to go wander out, he couldn't, is that what you're saying? Like he just had to like fully focus. So there
Right,
was that
also-
seal, that
also
container.
this like for instance, holiness support everything. So just
Mhm.
I don't need anything, just only practice. So but here, so also maybe you need to cook or something, other things you have to do daily, things. So that way it's just sometimes you or I go to sales retreats, but the more struggle,
It's more of a
struggling,
struggle.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. And also sometimes, yes, it is the 3 years to continue with this kind of thing, good, but also not enough. Really is the practice, keep going until we die. So that's so why finish, so
Do
yeah,
your
that's good
retreat,
thing,
that's it.
but
Yeah.
the daily practice better,
Are there certain practices that should not be done outside of the context of formalized retreat, however, for safety or like
What's that?
chokor or
Penati Nyamlin Dramanda Yorawa, Tini Nune Nyamlin Kashe, the Yinji Menji Samla ne Pekatla Chea Yorabe Pena Trukor Talong, Tindado Yinji Menji de Samla de Pekatla Che Gogrebe, Tini Samla Ma de Pekatla Chena Chichina Ninka Yong Sigrebe. So it's not that there's danger, it's more that like it won't really happen. So like you need to do, it's better to do those kinds of practices in retreat.
But also I say that like no necessarily complete sale, that's okay if you practice,
Yeah.
Three,
You can
4
do like
sessions,
a lighter
3 sessions or 2 sessions a day.
retreat.
Okay.
So we'll do the short dedication. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings and samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Dragungpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tarpon Springs is inland. They're very helpful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but the
That's very
beach is
real.
not possible. Right now it's possible. It's actually the closest. To get from here to there is actually straight.
Thanks for calling. Hi, how are you?
Joe?
You think about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
take care.